Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Millett. Come, come to me. Come unto me. My name is Richard Millett, and this, of course, is the quarantine stream. I believe the 22nd one that we have done. And we shall now play for you the beloved evergreen quarantine stream. Beautiful. Hope you're all okay out there. Let's go. This is it's called Flowers at the Foot of the Cave. Swinging light bulb over a cracked basement window, a painting depicting the creation of creation, and a makeshift bed. I made up a new name for you that I'll only keep in my head. My head. Look at the jewel resting in the bottom of the wooden cup, or the stack of handwritten sheets explaining the steps of the ritual in rich, deep red, and the names of everyone there exist in my head. My head. Charcoal renderings of saints ripped from a magazine and pinned to the door, dented bits of metal shaped to make a mosaic and pushed into the floor. Quarter-inch thick spray-painted silver ribbons looped like ringlets in the air, and the floating stray white veins from a feather landing on your hair. Here I sit, half childish, with freshly washed clothes strewn over the chair. A tray with orange peels, melon rinds, and empty glasses rests balanced on the table's edge, while I'm reading a map leading to a room more colorful than the womb, where I can overhear things other than gurgling and organs rushing. But still, this will always be in its infancy, because love is where Genesis greets infinity, and for proof you can look in my eyes, even though I won't confirm or deny how much of this is true, but I trust that will get worked out by you. This is a book I did last year. It's called New Nature. We know what we've seen, so much more water falling from the sky, making miniature lakes out of puddles and forming little rivers and gutters, new homes being built where the mudslides ran, down the hills quenching the forest fires. So many new islands and bays for animals to gather together standing on one foot. New games being played as new trees emerge in marshes and parks form over landing strips. We know what we think about it. Never desecrate the body. Never poison the water supply. Never bathe in insecticides. See and think. Never barter for bacteria. Never throw poison down the well. Never desecrate the body. In a glass sink, the water can start to build its own walls and divide its own chromosomes. In a glass shower, the nozzle calcifies the water and organizes the deposits into clear lines. On a glass floor, spilled water pulls away from itself towards the corners, towards the door. On a glass ceiling, the water can reform into pointillistic droplet paintings. We know what we see and what we think. Called Allison, where the blue sea and icebergs are. She's ice cream, and there she's down the hall. She uses words like everything and all. I can hear her, but I can't make out her features. I know she spends her weekends in a cement cinema, making notes. The girl next to her tries to see what she wrote. Allison wonders why the guy in the elevator keeps glancing at her and why the weather keeps jumping between rain and sun every 30 minutes. She keeps saying, "Quit asking me questions, I'm innocent," as people assume she's joking. Allison wonders, what are the windows thinking on a day where there's a white line down the center of the sky? Her mind cuts back to the guy on the elevator. Quick, look at me, look at you, we're equals. Allison wonders if she can keep hiding while knowing that they're following me. Allison writes, what started as hopes are now observations, mostly about nature, and being young stops being fascinating once it's done. Allison looks down at her bowl of spinach, and her eyes focus down on the details of one leaf, and she quietly speaks. An atheist sees this and can only think of the mud it grows from. Allison writes, we extend grace out of our own sense of grace, and smiles because she's not sure if that's something of her own or something she's half remembering from 2 or 3 incarnations ago. Allison considers why her back and hands are so slippery when she's invisible, and then she tells her sister, my tongue is a graffiti sponge. I wonder if I'll have to make love in front of a judge. Allison considers that she's a character who looks and acts exactly like her, then draws a bath with the lights off. Allison invites her guests to walk barefoot while cherries and red confetti float out of her phone. Allison considers emptying cash registers if the security cameras lose power. But what she mostly wants are completely natural segues with no artificial blends. So, with that, make thoughts your aim or nerve blaming when all meet with you at your beginnings, but make allowances for their worn out tools and make dreams a trap for fools after they are gone. Good Lord. It's called Renaissance. Celebrate the Silver Age, the wonderful dawn, the dust from space, the transparent page, the grasp of discipline, possibilities unbound by definition, the reach of purposeful disassociation. The Silver Age, the cyclical start, the anti-doom, antidote to negation and cynicism cloaked as intelligence, and laziness stealing from experience. The Silver Age, wisdom without citing a reference, ideation from the singular source, the interior physics married to open perception, divorced from pre-existing belief systems. Celebrate the Silver Age, the transfiguration of time made clear in the present, the gift of interdependent contexts in the spirit of enthusiastic creation, leaning on the curve and leaving a set of fingerprints superimposed, adding another angle to the environment. How are we doing out there? Okay, good. Okay, this is called When I Look. When I look and walls are in the wind, when I see you're unsure how to begin, I promise soon you'll be laughing, with friends in open gardens clapping. When you see, you remember every dream. So we find it's simple to forget. So you find that you are very blessed. Through windows at sunset silently, faces meet your eyes smiling serenely. So you find you remember every dream. And you try imagining all things beyond eyesight, in air, over our celebration, beneath streets unknown, untouched, 40 fathoms deep, too far to reach. When I look and talk to you, I know. When I see, you will never be alone. The mirror reflects a statue, lilac bush, and bee, and we agreed feelings create reality. When you see, you remember every dream. In and near eclipsing, absorbing, transmogrifying wood, water, and sand, pushing till the horizon is vanishing, scraping outer limits, distant and away. for the delay. It's called Honeybee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like a coral pink butterfly heading to me, you're looking through your jeweled eyes, I'm waiting for your surprise. A birthday card, an aquarium hung on the wall, a memory in a vein swimming around, arriving late to hear a favorite song. Flying, flying, like a honeybee that counts the flap of its wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keeping everything else alive. Bubbles on the honeycomb, coming together in unusually warm weather. Honeybee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keeping everything else alive. All right, still good. All right, this is, oh, you know what? We'll do this first. Now more than ever, I suppose, unfortunately. It's called Laughter at the Wake. Who are they? No, not that group of people we know from work standing quietly on the side, who mentioned that there's been no sun in weeks, and how dreary this warm winter is, with bricks, trees, and street signs left dripping stained sleet. Why did they come here? No, not the distant relatives on the couch in the back corner, crying and trading stories, who mentioned that there are so many clouds you can't see the sky, and that we can't hear the news for so much static in the airwaves, in exchange for a bill too low to pay, with tar dripping from the faucet. Why do they stay when it appears they only want to sneer at the mourner's tears and refuse to pick up the flowers they knocked over? What move can you take, since their skin is so thin they start screaming when asked to act their age? We can't tell them to leave? We can't, since they're family? But I see they're carrying on and shaking, and I'm disgusted they behave this way. You can't stop hearing the laughter at the wake. Listen to them gloating about voting against everyone's well-being, so thoughtless and uncaring that their liberty and future are at stake. I can't ignore the laughter at the wake. Called Oranges. Blue and red stripes laying on her bed, throwing chicken to the fish waiting to be fed. Flying fortress in the cold yellow light, electronic geysers marking the millimeters at night. The redwoods grew out of the lakes, then the horses and cougars came from apes, and after speaking formed their shapes, they wrote an alert they planted themselves in the desert. The sky is one meal a day floating through hoarfrost. The orator utters proclamations under acid precipitation. Bodies and mind, yours and mine, our energy is our vocation. The truth, the purified milk came from the amalgamation. How to eat to live and sleep underneath, to see the silent actions and keep what we dream. Right now a machine exists to read your thoughts, and I'm called a fool. A fool is one who follows a stranger's rules, stealing coal and jewels, fixing their fixation and altering their gestation. One man is not a nation, one woman is not a nation. My knife slipped through the ghosts of Enoch Powell, Mary Whitehouse, and Ronald Reagan, and into Abaddon's icy abdomen. This morning I went to work. There was a mouse on the road, running between cars, sliding over the snow. He got told by the acquaintance he doesn't know the real world. He told them, I don't think you know about the world outside your world. Because we've come here to annoy you, we've come here to destroy you. No flies on her, no skies on me, or our ulterior alchemy. A spirit doesn't have flesh and bones, you can see I do. A wave isn't solid, but it can slice through and bury you. The floor in his basement began to crumble. Let me say, I won't eat meat if it causes my brother to stumble. My brother, why do you live in a state of degradation, pressing away atoms of inspiration, continuing this dissipation? You said you formed all light and darkness, evil and peace, but you made yourself deformed and obese, a member of the secretive police. Screeching seagulls drop their feathers on the sphere, two sets of twins announcing that they're leaving here and ferrying out to live inside the windmills. The fog is too thick to see the pinnacles. Blue, red, and gray stripes laying on her bed, silver ovens making new bread, flying fortress in the breaking midnight, electronic geysers signaling for continual flight. This moment, you should be with us, feeling like we do, like you love to, but never will again. Just 200 miles from where I used to live, were the lakes and legends, afternoons crawling the canal, running in circles, scaling fences. Coming home curfewless, lying in bed, stretching out your arms in front of your face, fingers making shapes out of the light, album covers on the wall next to calendars with modern art. Do you remember when we used to work together? We went to the swimming pool and recorded the kids laughing, splashing around to use in a sound collage. Those kids are grown up now. We went to the quarry and watched the slabs of rocks being hauled away by trucks. We'd stay and talk until the time silenced our throats. Those rocks are buildings now. Do you remember when we used to work together? We used to never worry about money, only if there was enough to have fun for the week. Sometimes I think we can be there again, if you left the rolling hills of Alabama. The band played No Side to Fall In, and you clapped and sang along. I used the same words the next night, and you said I was wrong. Do you remember when we used to work together? Standing in your mom's house, her pizza cooling in the kitchen, your hair and clothes a ragged curtain, playing your guitar, glorious crystalline shards. You asked me to write a brass score. I figured it couldn't be that hard. Do you remember when we used to work together? It's called Cheltenham Girl. Like a cloud, beautiful sound, standing before the signal. When the light shines on the ground, it reflects off the wheel. Parking lot next to the short building on the edge of the desert. She sees it's harder to be a number when you're starting as a visitor. Cheltenham Girl. Clouds can't create the shapes they make or hold on to any rain. Precious, temporary, holding no domain. No machines, no cell phone or computers, clicking through broken links. Credit card, social security needed. She'll refuse to register. Cheltenham Girl. Every day another wish, another mile, closer to the point where I can portray it. Until then, all I'll do is sing to her spirit. She will return. Called Venus. Venus waiting in a lake on the first day of spring, glides past a pregnant crane, sees what the future can be. Venus waiting in a lake, picked ripe fruit from the trees, pouring petals in the water, splashing along with her baby. The sparrow takes flight, arise as it arrives. Venus, sitting stringing pearls for her beloved girls, walks to where she's sleeping on the deck, kisses her on the forehead. Venus swimming beneath the sun can speak earnestly with anyone. The sparrow takes flight, arise as it arrives. Called Silver Lace. Never let it be said that the book won't be read, or that the candlesticks will be thrown out. That's like asking about your blankets and what became of them. Were they left in an alley or boxed and lent to a friend? Never let it be said that the chickens won't get fed, or that the evening coffee will run cold. That's like thinking the traffic lights will never turn red, or that the wire will run out before you get to return home. I'm looking at a book of photographs by Robert Frank, size cut in half, some maps people never thought to make, some paths people never thought to take. When Berkeley was originally settled, the center of town was marked with a church and a bank. Some people never think to give thanks, or wonder if they may be wrong. I still have the cassette you made, decorated with black magic marker and duct tape, though the sound cuts off in half the songs. Never let it be said that your sister will stay unwed, or that the scissors are no longer sharpened. That's like thinking the sun will never outshine the moon, or that the heat of the spring only lives in the swell of the afternoon. It's two Franciscan nuns. I'll check how we're doing out there. Still hanging in there. God bless it. Chewing mint leaves while crossing the Calumet River, the paper mill's exhaust pipes interrupt the vista. Mules waited with surge protectors, hairspray and cassettes, a riverboat of morphine-addicted ghosts over there on the left. Two Franciscan nuns wanted to build a hospital, but settled for organizing games of chance. In their hotel rooms, they squeeze out extra acidic orange juice and excommunicate people with unpleasant names from the phone book. Two Franciscan nuns helped decorate an admiral in the pensioner's home after he'd misplaced his uniform. They blessed his pills, kissed his parakeet, and as he slept, gathered sets of his false teeth to sell the swap meet. A brain with blood and oxygen is better than a fish who talks. What some people see as skin discoloration is in fact the natural pigmentation when viewed from the inside. Some newspapermen have always known this, and have nothing to hide. I have a syntax error, frolicking banshee beast that won't leave me alone when I'm sleeping, when I'm eating, when I'm oblivioned, like a cloud conforming to the heat. I have a syntax error that gnaws my blood cells and steals my fire, swing distilling and apoplexic shaking, flat-earthed and triangle-hipped, withdrawn, postponed, and resequenced. I have a syntax error stolen from my programs, the lethargic constraints, laughing at my fits, calculating slits of immortality, wrapping iron-lung wings beyond the point of computation, boiling plasmatic revelation. I have a syntax error that cackles like a spitfly at every ounce of acne that belongs to my frame, cajoling the frenzy, consoling the dichotomy, cluttering the dirge into cellophane equivalency and carefully crafted objectivity. I have a syntax error that justifies everything I want, that tells me what to do, that tells me there's sincerity to prove, that opens up my stomach when I'm dreaming and fantasizes about infecting my acrylic soul. I have a syntax error, galloping malapropism, wrapping its image inside me, laughing insidiously all around me, speaking in tongues until I don't know what to say. I have a syntax error, spine-charred, perpendicular presence of constricted paranoia that captivates my logic and obstructs my magnetically pollinated points of progression. I have a syntax error that doesn't breathe, that doesn't bleed, but gravitates in parallel lines from heart to head, producing a gelatinous strain of indecisiveness, forgetting the trains of time and the tracks of my mind. I have a syntax error that doesn't want to leave, that nightmares my DNA, that I'm slowly peeling away before I fall prey to its fangs, and I'm nothing but a machine with a syntax error. It's called Milky Skies. For 3 weeks I've seen the skies one color stretched over a muted spectrum, and I've heard tiny handbells clang at irregular intervals. Without forethought, I was in a state of unstable concentration. With my sense of decency tested, I stared at celeste-colored veins and remembered how they were made. I was reminded of the worm, thankful to be placed back in the dirt after suffering a 2-inch gash on its side from careless shoveling. The youngest lady stops weeping and waiting and steps into invisibility, her velvet-lined pockets filled with small wreaths of braided blue stems. While embarrassed at how much she once admired her mother's brooches, she now fully blushes at her wish to own an ocean full of stone. Her friends repeatedly requested questions only furthers her hesitation, so she leaves a small note of explanation. Life is grossly inelegant in its demands that one must impatiently forget chores performed with red impressions left intact, from knots affixed to ankles and wrists as if the sores never existed. Shock of copper curls, cerulean halos in his eyes, considers his environment with his shoulders pinned back, adjusts his balance and stands straight up in his raft. The one idea that has possessed him so vanishes out from his mind, pierces the sky, then its velocity escapes his gravity and reaches away past the sky, but he fears no lack of purpose or whether this time has been meaningless. He has total devotion to the base truth of his vocation. His ankles give way and he falls back gently, lands on his hands while some water splashes in. He considers those who would deride his actions and thinks, I don't require any clothes. I'd rather remain naked for everyone. I felt watched when I first voluntarily gave away confidential information, then tried to explain the layout of San Antonio to a stranger who never knew I'd never been there before. And now, as minutes become limitless, any vows I made always sustained me. I felt watched when my thinking was clean and capable of strict reasoning, and I rode along freshly painted runways, left notes on license plates, brambles, and high chairs. And now, as lassitude disintegrates, any vows I made remain unchanged. I felt watched when my legs were bathed in a heat as persistent and unruly as a bat taunting a seal, repeatedly landing on its shoulder and squealing. And now, as fury impassively fades, any vows I made could never break. I felt watched when I attended 10 drawing classes and attempted to finish a full circle freehand without interference between thought and motion. And now that my hands are patient, any vows I made are everything. Here she flies, and now we know if the promises made more than 10 years ago have been kept. Here she flies with 2 pens, rosary, brass paperweight, earrings, locket, and measurements written on a business card. Here she flies, gums and hair receded, a miniature brace for a baby wrapped in grade, hardened plastic. Here she flies with an oxygen tank bubbling ceaselessly, a UHF channel on the television showing an old western silently. Here she flies while I stand with tentative confirmation, a glass of thickened water and 3 empty white boxes. Here she flies with skin like marble over winding staircases and rooms with seafoam-colored walls and intimidating machinery. Yeah, we're still in there. Amazing. It's called Guests. The soundscapes fly from dusk, sterility restricted to their thoughts, bleak as the day they were born. But the concrete is in a state of flux, and the forest lies under a soiled blanket of lucid dreams. Pale-faced disintegration in the awestruck, penniless geometric cluster, and its meaningless tradition. For some quiet, they drink shattered glass. For some peace, they'd murder a stillborn baby. Savages behind closed doors, but who commits treason and defines what's pure? With the precise rhythms and the headache medicine, memories seep through like blood under a fingernail. We never know when it's finished. The wave just rides. Preface to manifest slavery, entire chapters to write, planets of aliens to conceive. We never know when it's finished. The wave just rides. I wrote this around the same time as the last one. I didn't put did called Trace of the Dim Signal, which I like very much. I've seen the newly forming land, the beginning of the plan, the greatness of the expanse, the brand new day, where nothing will be forced away. I have seen the angle of the road. I have seen the angle of the road. The expectation unfolds. The day, the newborn day. The newborn day will be coming, and the space will sweep us away. This is Canary Milk. Sweltering sun in the forecast, but it's raining right now. Retired teens nostalgic for holograms as their granddads watch rocks roll on the ground and wonder when they can be farmers in glass pods on Mars. While Amanda eats factory fresh candies and laughs jaggedly at vulgar stories. The boy who awoke in the toy aisle one evening moved more elegantly than his mother had ever seen as he picked items off a worn, well-folded list before deciding he'd rather have a pet eel instead. While Amanda watches her neighbors bickering and daydreams deleted scenes from their past. The delivery man is ready for the weekend as he ignores reports on the European heat wave, instead marveling about the new house on his route and how much it must cost each month to keep the swans fed and the water in the lagoon fresh. While Amanda feels no urgency to call back her agency and laughs at people voluntarily photographing their chores. Called The Needles. The dock 70 feet back of me as the sun rotated into the cloudless mid-sky. I saw, "You should keep my letter so that it serves as a reminder," carved into a 16-foot-long block of pink limestone. In front of me was a sea of black hair and white fabric. A man in iguana-colored boots was a private parade. The air was damp and smelled like salty sediment. A sandpiper coughed into my ear. In prior decades, this would have been a confined testing environment, stacked with medical supplies and sterilized instruments, while bleached cotton strips turned the skin around my nails lighter. Pried out of the wilderness of incestuous dreams, ripped posters, and unreliable oral histories, deer curled up in sandy, shallow puddles, trails of red ants eating holes through discarded cabbage. Soft green eyes undress uniforms before entrance into a former Methodist church, with baby blue walls and royal blue sacristy doors. Reptile eggs eaten by a small group of women who then wash their hands in citrus-saturated water and wrap their fingers with copper wire. And a monument at dusk surrounded by silence outlined with jagged stones and chipped jewelry. Fox hunters riding by, with a new hound who they yell at and threaten to whip as each of its tentative selections are rejected. The Lord Mayor's houses built to buttress against resistant forces, all amid a slow, swollen syrup that pools and then runs downhill to the man-made lake. Unobstructed view and pristine wings, piercing siren as though it was a current or a call to worship. A chalice filled with tarantulas, a flagpole wavering in its stand. Chickens' eyes rolling sideways as they travel at unnatural speeds for the first time. Cigarette smoke blown into a bowl of strawberries, fingerprints left in wet paint, fresh milk pumped from each breast. My friend who can foresee pregnancy and electricity through a wall has their moods move like montages in a film. My friend without terminology, whose nature is a catapult, who can walk through a maze without a fever. My friend who finds destiny dancing on purple and pink nights with dirt around their ankles. From the upper window, I witnessed a slow splintering of demonic demonstrations. In my right hand were coins melted together. On my feet were the shoes of another as I checked the tags on my clothes to learn my identity. Through the upper window, across 7 streets, into the parking lot where disused missiles decompose, diagonal gold and gray roads sprayed clean of tar and debris. Low-flying planes obscure the upper window where a virginity pageant marches from the shower and concludes with forearms rested on the top rung of a ladder. Breathless dizziness reading large handmade maps, desperate for hydrogen, dull bulbs, and shovels, eyes closed for hours. All deaths are a cataclysm. Rinse the plaque from your mouth, cut long muslin swaths and give them away. Bring out your dead! All deaths are a cataclysm. Rinse the cement, don't try to trace ghosts. Bring out your dead! All deaths are a cataclysm, and what stands are bloody trees deciphering the wordless moans. The invisible dust falling on a table in the woods, swept away in haste. The invisible dust falling on a chain-link fence at the border, wafted away before it rusts. The invisible threads woven around nurses' legs while administering instructions to infants. The invisible threads coursing through fibrous recall. Innocence is wasted on the inexperienced. Each speck is an unnoticed city, an English symmetrical opening. Each strand is a bird on the river in a King's Indian defense. Wax seal stamps poured onto a clock while its mechanism starts surging. Go into the unpaved adjacent highways and remember. Remember for the benefit of whom? The sermon restated to sleeping citizens weary from work. Remember for the benefit of whom? A lion in a tent gnashing the last of its dinner. Remember for the benefit of whom? A slouching, passive general, inept at telling a catalog from blueprints. Protective exoskeleton, exclusive phone booth opposite the swimming pool in a home in Beverly Hills constructed in the late 40s. Watery exoskeleton, fluttering drama as the mounted trophies change colors when passing trains sound their whistles. Sensory exoskeleton in parks of dewy, gently curved hills designed by anxious architects to absorb all tastes and scents. No one reaction or army of thought, no weaning or well-meaning practice can smudge or even expunge the unadorned evidence in the immeasurable elements. And now a grasp toward a cataract of menstruation stored in a triptych of cases. Tender veils lift lightly in the breeze, briefly betraying the horse's forward focus. Confirmed miracles in the dial tones droning from underneath the unexplored aisles. A cherry, a maiden, a cup. And I lay down for now, hopeful the parcels I sent arrive on time. It's called When I Wake. Each morning I wish to wake with honest intentions and open perception. Each morning I wish to wake with calm and quiet, a clean face and clear sight. As I go into the day, may I step lightly, may I observe carefully, and speak sincerely. Each morning may I be grateful for the sun ascending. I wish to meet it with integrity. I wish to exist peacefully. It's called Blue Soaked Scepter. The kink in my neck that runs to my kidneys, distracting me from movies I've long since memorized and repeating quotations I've lived inside of, and I've no desire to rewrite history that doesn't concern me. When what I didn't know already felt familiar, when I saw the inscription on my commemorative plaque had been worn back to smooth silver, when I slipped behind the mist, changed clothes, washed my hands, and shaved, with no light and with no intention of anyone seeing my face for a while, I was willingly walked through a coal-stained city lot and deposited in the back seat of an already running windowless army green car, which was then locked from the outside. Mary! Did I abandon my practice, committed an indirect affront in my brief absence? My name is Keith. The beggar at my door raised his arm but soft while I listened to his parables that had no center. My name is Luke, with an auspicious mistress beside me. I looked at a baby, looking out a window at fluttering street signs. My name is Julia. My temper was gentle as I read a sermon called, Are You Here to Celebrate the Death of Death? My name is Giles. I wish that I'd been obscured when my ears were bitten with endearment while I was plainly ignored. My name is Grace. I was observed by 3 people whose accounts proved suggestible and fractured. My name is Abigail. I faced hard construction when I, in truth, spoke forcefully about my forged fingerprints. My name is Morgan. I spent twilight empty, save for sketching a red tunic on bent paper. My name is Brooke. I was registered in a hotel under an assumed name and made lists of families that I pitied. And my name is Gabriel. I singed my hair and clothes trying to be recalled. The sky has been moonless for 29 nights. Why couldn't I stay? I was bothered by the way the streetlights hit the trees and reflected off the leaves. I took a knife and short length of rope. 6 hours later, I'm waiting for you to arrive, carrying a scepter and wearing a breastplate with frayed shoulder blades and exhausted eyes. I'm waiting for you to arrive, sitting cross-legged on the sodden deck with wayward souls who were barely seen. I leapt off the ledge and was soon out of haunt as I climbed the concave shores, wondering if I should forage, catch a gudgeon, or eat unbruised fruit that had fallen. The gravelly, guttered soil gave way to encroaching forest, dense with rows of weighted, wet, purple limbs that succumbed to gravity and wind. Then abruptly I was in the center of a champaign, and the only objects I found were short rows of tree stumps and stones, each carved with the query, What made you look here? I jaunced away into the odd even, was again pursued by the thicket's reach. The thorns licked my calves, the ant-hills shone like pebbled glass. I brushed past a frog with a violet tongue and discolored teeth, who gulped for relief while his body remained static like a splayed thread in aspic. I made my way into the antres and found myself prating, Prithee, pray tell what you remember of working your hands into the mud, feeling it curl under your fingernails. It feels like a relic reunited with its original setting after having been figured lost or only seen in a dream. Betimes I glanced around for the traveling lamp, while standing beside the curvature, hearing myself call to datelessly abandon vizards and leasing and be faithfully young-eyed. I returned once more to the champaign and sat among the stones in silence. I received no visions or visitations, no inspiration to invent an incantation, and in this vacuum of communication, I only experienced the sense, or perchance suggestion, of the imposing press of eras and atmosphere. And now I notice this restless weather, shy beams of sunlight moving sideways through the strings of remaining rain. This is a very old one. It's called Do You Believe in Love at First Sight? I woke up, startled, and trying to recall the dream I had just finished. I opened the blinds in my bedroom and peered at the granite sky, made makeshift memories of the people I knew who didn't live past 18. Where should I go tonight? Do I feel like dealing with them? 4 a.m. makes its only pulse with promises of the Euphrates River and drag queens who will take the time to slow dance. In an instant, I visualized that dream as I lay underneath the bunk beds, even though I was an only child. Appendages slid from over the wall and hung over me. It now takes me 4 hours to go to sleep. Fly in the clouds slightly above your childish tooth scar. Hush, scuffling hands, broken, and a knock to remind popsicle stains, corroded sugar dirt, and life fiber insects. To the stars, and crash it away, to search for the reinvention, to answer for the millennium. Man will stand for what he's done, when mythology folds and the blocked visions rush past and reclaim their rightful place. Dark spirals fly over static phone lines. How can you be coherent when you don't even want to leave the house? I don't want to give you the impression that I'm desperate or searching for anything, or that I just want to be your best friend that can slip out the back door. She was a child bride, an angel wrapped in bedsheets, a nightingale trapped in the undertow. I could never feel safe around her because I always felt that she was getting ready to leave me. She was a child bride. The last runaround of my stupidity, the most graceful vision of beauty that I've ever seen. One of my friends wrote that everything is a symbol, but I had to say that he's wrong. Everything is political. Mother, your love to me is obligated. Your love is like a syringe shooting obsessive attendant religion into me. I miss your cold hands and the bathwater. You never watch me sleep anymore, and I wring my arms equally at the thought of obeying and defying you. Mother, it's arrogant to say that you know God's way and to risk my soul on it. I don't want to live with the guilt complex that the only Son of Man died for me, because it makes God come off like a tedious stepdad that has to forever beg for respect from his inherited children. Mother, your cut-glass campaigning repels me, and the subtle innuendos and allusions make me disbelieve every word you say. Everything is political. Political glitter. Like the tinsel and bells and sprayed snow hanging off the plastic Christmas trees in the dining room. Political glitter, like a jigsaw puzzle with a broken frame. Political glitter, like a peace treaty ratified on the chest of a hooker. Lunatic archangel writhing madly on the floor, a lunatic messenger dragging on a cigarette, feeling the blackened edges of a psychotic afterburn, a lunatic tramp stung on turpentine and suffering from rotting bone marrow, lunatic clones in a line of succession shrieking about their bloodshot hearts and decayed embryos. An elegy at the funeral service where the urn was placed next to ripped-out pages from Siddhartha. I opened my mouth to try and make an orchestra come out, but I'm stuck with her words trapped on slivers of tape. But I don't believe that, and I don't ever want to believe that, because that means I've been wrong the whole time when I keep getting proved right, because it means that the universe has a finite number and that temptation can push us anywhere it wants. Do you believe in love at first sight? Do you believe in intuition and romantic video screens that play tape loops from your imagination? Do you believe that everything you ever wanted is alive inside your head, or that religion is just a hoax to keep you from touching your eyes? I believe in soul explosions that dart into every universe until some attention is finally paid to it. Sometimes talking to people is just like acting. The thunder makes crystal cracks and opens up the sky. The violence of it is so beautiful, and I lay on top of my bed, wondering why I can't feel safe and hoping the lightning will whip the entire galaxy into one pulsing electric light. I haven't found you yet, but I don't doubt I will. No, I don't doubt I will. And if he could, he would have said, "When the guardian goes mad, the sun rains against their eardrums, indistinguishable from Morse code tapping out on a copper plate. Yes, when the guardian has gone mad, they're found singing love songs to tanks, draping staircases in flags, breaking car windows to decorate their faces with the glass. When the Guardian goes mad, they're captured pushing a pickaxe into an LED screen and detained for threatening to throw snakes at gas station attendants. When the Guardian goes mad, people suddenly remember to turn on AM radio and patiently follow guidelines before filing a full report, though there are always doubters and passers-by who start conspiracies, the usual being that this was a planned distraction. If the Guardian goes mad, they'll arrive at every awards ceremony with a mirror in hand and a ribbon under their chin and make demands to review the voting process when they don't win. If the Guardian goes mad, they'll rue the day they lost control of their relationships, spending weeks hiring staff to bury paperwork they'll insist doesn't exist. If the Guardian goes mad, all of their meals shall consist of orange peels pulled from chain link fences and burned coffee flavored with molded peach preserves. Though there are always doubters ready to offer an opinion of unverifiable proof summarizing that death and maps are the only real measures of impact. The Guardian cracks up. They'll spend bleak days envisioning trees committing suicide, grandmothers doing crystal meth for the first time, and gnats smeared into toothpaste. If the Guardian cracks up, 7 strangers stuck in a bank will claw at each other to seek cold air in the vault and wait for their families and firemen to arrive and dig them out. If the Guardian cracks up, pirates will walk their own planks and devour themselves once they hit the water, thrashing back at their gnashing teeth, running the seas red until hunter and prey are finally won. Ignorance, arrogance, the pest control man said unto me, when I was in Japan, I bought cherry bread in a can. I opened it with a knife and slid off the wrapper. The air bubbles stayed floating in my mouth, and I rolled them around and around and around and around until I returned back to the West. Bliss, tolerance, the pest control man said unto me. Sometimes my apartment building turns into a vending machine, and I get deposited out into the evening to provide goods and services for lucky couples with good taste and a few wandering dollars to rub together. It's called White Cello. Take the white envelope next to your right hand. Give it to me here. Look at the seal. Talk to me. I'm in the window. I'm not in time, but I got your watch and I need to learn to play this white cello. Scratch the surface. I'm on the shore with a can of sugar. It's never bitter. I'd really rather be playing, though. I like the white strings and the white bow. That's not her. That's her was the simplest thing you said today. I'm still reeling with no moments except now. You don't possess any microscope, so I will take the telescope. I'm trying to be angelic, which isn't easy after getting desensitized with disappointments every night, eating fresh vegetables, but planning, oh, you already know. And then you talk me out of it. You don't have a pistol in your waistcoat. Your teeth aren't flecked with flax seeds. My misjudgments are my own, and most are unknown. And just because I'm a pacifist doesn't mean anyone can abuse me. And speaking of myself, notice me. I'm standing next to the tree where the guy crashed the car, his stolen car, then got out and ran for it. But I can behave for over 100 days, and I've squandered my efforts and so much goodwill that I still need to convince myself that I should try to take lessons to learn to play at all. I'm not sure that you want me to, but I know what I can do. And with that, we're not missing anything. We're humming songs through the phone. We're midnight movers. We're holy rollers without a religion. No, we're not. And don't be the guy on the bike in the right lane racing for his life against the rush hour traffic in the morning. I know you are, and you know that I care. And I feel like I'm Clark Kent dressed in primary colors, and I just haven't taken off my glasses yet. She said, as long as it's not evil. And I said, I cannot be evil. Certainly not now. But it's the rising sun. It's a hard-boiled egg. It's basil. It's a blue charm. I just want to play the white cello. I just want to sit in a circle and think about it some more. So we're going to wrap this up? Because otherwise we're just testing people's patience. No, I'm thinking out loud. It's warm communication going on here. So that's what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to change some channels. Quarters, nickels, and all sunbathers must be wearing a blue suit. The Slaughter Cutoff. You go to the Slaughter Cutoff, you cut off your sloths. It'll be a reverse safari where they put lions, cheetahs, and tigers in a truck and drive them around to show people shopping and walking down the street or pumping gas. It'll be the apex of manifestation. It won't be like something in the Bible, but what I say is like the Bible, or it'll be a suburban safari where some guy named Greg gives you a little pith helmet and plastic binoculars and you wait under his kitchen table for the cat to use the litter box. But why does it gotta be white? Never heard from before. Advertising space available. Clean, clear water. And of course, the tastiest tomatoes. Goodness gracious. How you guys doing out there? Having fun? Any requests? I don't do requests, haha. This is a poem of freedom. I greet the puppies with a smile and attempt to comb my hair for a while. I have my time on a red velour sofa. It's not mauve, it's not puce, it doesn't look anything like you. It's ugly, it's red, it's got plastic cushions. I spilled my apple juice on that sofa. Or is it a love seat, or is it a futon? It might be a bidet for all I can see. But whatever the hell it is, I don't want to sleep on it or eat your chocolate cake anywhere near it. I don't even want to go in your house because your dog humps my leg and your boyfriend picks my teeth and your dad chews my eyelash and there's not 1 inch of floor space clean enough to lick. You turn my water brown. You see now, Granddad dresses like a clown. He's got a big red nose. It's not nearly as revolting as that sofa. So by the way, I'm not coming over tonight, so quit following me down the hall or hitting on me in the toilet stall. Because any house with that much Elvis on velvet won't find me on their front porch reading or their Norman Rockwell painting. But maybe I will drop by dressed in a satin hat with some flowers for the maid and cocktails for the cat that never got me in the sack and a muzzle for that goddamn dog of yours. And I'll cut out your nose hair and put on your pancakes and yell, "Supper is served," so the butler can take a night off and throw some darts at Granddad. And for dessert, I'll serve pigs in a blanket garnished with spaghetti Suzette with some lighter fluid and a Lockyer Ma's pubic hair to torch that fucking sofa to the ground. Because it ain't Art Deco no matter how hard you try to swing it. And the vinyl siding may go up in flames. It really ain't little pink houses after all, and I was at Toots. Now then. The present is in the future. History is present. Future is present. The present is present. History is history. And we see the future push the foreground wonderfully. All three, and you and me. Diane, as you wonderfully said, I hope our future is like flying birds.
The weather is in the sea, gravityless moment, caught and dotted with cherry trees and colored pencils. There is very little in life that matches what I feel when you smile back at what I whisper to you. We're in the room and out of nowhere, looking at the inlet together in letters and circles. Like a slit in a curtain, like a fluttering bird ready to bathe, like an oxidized copper fountain. I want to be with you always, all the time. Like a white shirt with a fresh grass stain, like streetlights breathing air, like waving from the top of a ladder. You plan all the plans, always, all the time. Like strawberry on the counter, like fingernails washed clean, like a bee being curious of a new flower. You are adorable, always, all the time. Like pickled ginger on salmon, like a workbench in the sun, like an invention imagined. We are here with each other, always, all the time. Like a cat cornering a grasshopper, like a licked stamp pressed with a thumb, like a rectangle with unbroken corners. You are mine, I am yours, always, all the time. All right, folks. Now we come to that special time. It's easy for your mom to spend Friday night trying to look to the TV while half asleep, continuously saying, let it all breathe, when she's not the one out there trying to brave the wind, trying to walk across that wing with just a 4-foot stick of balsa wood to help her keep her balance. The Tsar's personal physician put the head of surgery in bed, called his staff around and explained this could be the end, but he's not really certain because he's just been too depressed at the prospect. At least that's what you thought, he said, but you were quite distracted by the kissing couple out on the observation deck. And you got yelled at for sleeping during a meeting by the head of marketing. But you didn't feel any guilt as you explained that you'd been sin-free since the night before, and the head of marketing agreed with you and closed the door and started rubbing your shoulders and talking about opportunities for advancement. And the private still cannot figure out how to break ranks, or how to help your mom fill out a loan application, or get a new sticker for her license plates. And the two of you prepare for their weekend leave by getting hair extensions and hitchhiking back to the hospital. You've been reading diaries, you've been reading autobiographies, you've been writing long treatises out on graph paper. You've been condescending to your enemies. You've been giving away easy answers that argue that there are no easy answers. You've been running forensics on untabulated statistics. You've been staring at a man sawing down a tree thinking anyone but me. You've been miming in a marching band, not playing a single note all season, even when the judge shoves his microphone into your horn. You've been looking at the apple in your hand, hoping to know how you'll find another. And good God, you've stolen mail from your mother. You've been looking at a fence thinking enough of this. You've been back to the hospital staying after hours in the maternity ward, laying newly minted rectangles on newborns' chests. You've been counseling dry drunks. You're near to sovereignty and whoever picks apples for free. You've been painting large unfinished arcs on your foyer walls while in expensive new clothes. You've been nearer to sovereignty and whoever spreads apple seeds for free. You've been barefoot while feeding skunks. You've been seeing your reflection in cardboard. Let it all breathe is the reminder that you whisper to yourself when you're out walking across the wing, watching flotsam from Beechcraft Model 18s rotate overhead, amazed how machinery so heavy can defy gravity. Let it all breathe is the reminder that you whisper to yourself when you're out walking across the wing, watching jettison pollution floating in the Indian Ocean in utter disbelief how the laws of nature can be defied so carelessly. You're a wing walker, closer to sovereignty, closer to picking apples for free, closer to crashing the fence, closer to opening books. You're a wing walker, trying to make a future full of stars while feeling some affectionate bite marks. You're a wing walker, closer to sovereignty, closer to spreading apple seeds for free, closer to swimming naked, closer to learning languages. You're a wing walker, trying to make a future full of stars, wishing you weren't feeling so far. But they found me! Realistically resembling myself and fully alive in a different year. Questions were drawn to determine how I appeared there. I explained I went to sleep because I couldn't function being constantly awake. Theta waves turning back on themselves. Spindle waves with no chance to crest, and the slow waves never close to arriving. A wing walker craves immunity to maintain silence. sovereignty, feeds on concentration to maintain sovereignty, brushes memories to maintain sovereignty. Theta waves are just the start. Spindle waves stand you straight up, and slow waves safely deposit you back along the shore. A wing walker needs clear vision, and to be free of poison, you have to know where to turn on the lights before you go to sleep. 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 Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go home and go to sleep. And with that, folks, we wrap up another exciting edition of the Quarantine Stream. My name is Richard Millet. I hope you've enjoyed this. By the grace of God, we will be back again next week. And until then, let us hear the Quarantine Stream theme. Lovely. Lovely. So just remember, as always, out there, big world that we live in. Stay safe, stay smart, and stay free, because you already are. All right, folks. By the grace of God, see you next week. I'll plug fluxlifeinc.com if you want to see any of my books and films, all the wondrous creations from over the years. Plenty to enjoy. Anyway, hopefully we'll be back next week. God bless. Until then, bye. 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 Going on a fucking high note, right?